All right, beautiful people. We are live. We're on Facebook. Please, in the chats and the comments, let us know where you're tuning in from. And super excited to kick off this Tuesday with you. So big waves to you. Good to see you. Good to see you. Go ahead and give us some waves out there. Kenya, good to have you on. And so the word for today, I'm going to go ahead and jump right into it, is turbulence. Turbulence. Now, when I think of turbulence and I look at the definition, I mean, it's violent or unsteady movement of air, water, or some other fluid. Like there's just a lot of movement going on, right? We've been in cars before where there's been a lot of turbulence, like storm. Maybe you drive through a storm. You know, I've flown a lot over the last 10 years, and I've probably more times than not been involved in turbulence as I'm up in the air on the aircraft. You know, and I want you to picture this. Picture yourself flying. How many of you's been on an aircraft before, and there starts to be a sudden jerking of the aircraft, like it jerks a little bit from side to side, maybe goes up and down, and you look over to your neighbor and they're white knuckling the seat, right? Like they're locked in, or maybe you're locked in. A little bit unnerving. But then I think about the pilots, and I think about how the plane was manufactured to handle that turbulence. To us, it's unnerving. It's a little bit scary if you hadn't flown a lot. But for the pilots and the aircraft, yeah, they try to avoid turbulence, but it's just something they're equipped to handle. So here's where I'm going with this morning. Life is much like flying an airplane. Truly is. There is turbulence more often than not. But just like the airplane, God built us to handle turbulence in life. Like God built Kenya, God built Erica, God built me to handle the turbulence in our life. He equipped us. We are each sent to earth with the equipment and abilities we need to endure all the turbulence that life is going to give us. But I'll tell you this, how many of you felt a downward spiral, kind of like being on that airplane and you feel a little jolt? Yeah, down, it's terrifying. Maybe it's your business, maybe it's your relationship, maybe it's your health, but maybe you're seeing possibly a downward spiral, some turbulence right now. And it can even be discouraging. But let me tell you, when we hold steady, just like the pilots do on the aircraft, and we remember that God built us to handle the turbulence. When we stop for a minute and go, hey, Brent, I know it's crazy. I know things are coming at you, but just steadfast, steady. God built you for this. What can happen is we can start to see a glimpse of hope and shining in the distance. And here's a few ideas really quick of how to handle the turbulence in life. Number one, remain focused, just like the pilots will. Remember, number two, nobody's perfect. There's only been one perfect person walk this earth. Number three, forgive others. When there's a lot of turbulence, we got to practice forgiving. And we've also got to forgive ourselves in turbulent times. When we're irritable, when we're a little bit agitated because things are a little shaken, or we're feeling a little movement and turbulence, we got to forgive ourselves. It's okay. And the last one is, you got to ask yourself, is this truly going to matter in 10 to 20 years? Like, as crazy as it is, in 20 years from now, is it truly going to matter? And a lot of times we could look back and go, you know what? It's a big deal, but in 20 years from now, it's going to be okay. And what that'll do is it'll grab the wheel, and it'll allow you to be steadfast and steady and stay eyes focused, eyes on the target, just like Joyce Meyer said, we all face storms in life. Some are more difficult than others, but we all go through trials and tribulations. That's 100%. That's why we have the gift of faith. So, Coach Myra Miles, I'm going to turn it over to you. This was a good one this morning.
Yes, it was. And thank you. And I'm going to just be duplicating a lot of what Coach Palmer just said. So, first of all, it's so awesome to be here today, to see everybody. I've got a little bit of a sinus issue going on, but man, this stuff I get from this little side hustle of ours, it's helping. So let's get started. Turbulence is usually something that, guess what? We're so afraid of it. And like Coach said, think about that time you were on the plane and the plane started shaking. And sometimes, I don't know if you've experienced or not, you could literally feel a drop in the level that the plane is flying. And it just absolutely terrifies us. Well, eventually it goes away and everything is smooth sailing again. You know, in that moment that plane is shaking, we're sitting in our seat. What do we do? Well, myself, I start praying to the good Lord that this turbulence will be taken away and that we will have a safe landing. I don't know what you do, but I got a feeling that we all do that. So, you know, this reaction on the plane, it really isn't any different when we encounter turbulence in our own everyday life. You know, so how does this happen? I'm going to give you some examples. Well, we might get reprimanded for not doing what we're supposed to be doing. Maybe not getting the work done at the quality that's expected of us. Or turbulence also comes in our lives when we have a sick child, a sick spouse, a sick family member that's very, very, very sick. You know, and then financially, we might hit rock bottom and wonder, how in the world are we going to survive? Been there? So when that turbulence does hit us as individuals, what do we normally do? You might hear some announcements in here, but what do? We react, don't we? When turbulence hits, we react immediately. So most of the time, that reaction is in a negative way and not a productive way. What do we do? Sometimes this is in our everyday life. We look to blame others. We get frustrated. Our self-confidence leaves us. Our courage leaves us. Does any of this sound familiar? It does. You know, so when things get turbulent and go wrong, do you keep looking for things to go wrong? Think about that question to you. When things get tough, do you keep looking for things to go wrong? I think probably we do that. You know, you probably answered yes. Well, you can bet your bottom dollar that whatever you're looking for, it will find you, bad or good. So whatever you're looking for, it's going to find you. So when things go wrong, what can we do? Well, we can talk, like Coach Palmer said, we can take over as a pilot of our life. Step back, evaluate, utilize all the tools that we have around us to pull out of this doggone storm that we're in. You evaluate the situation and see if you see a pattern. Look back on what caused this turbulence and see if you see a pattern and go back and correct that if you can. If so, make the positive changes. Lastly in this is write out the rough patch. Write it out. Just write it out. Don't react. Write it out. You know, we may not be able to control our life turbulence, but we sure as heck can control our reactions. We are the pilot of our own life. And I want to end with this quote from Matt Shania. Put yourself in this. When I say bird, put yourself in this. A bird that fears turbulence will never know how high it can fly. So have a great day. Love you guys.
You good? Coach, that's beautiful. That is beautiful right there. And I'll say this as we end. you're sitting there right now, and there's a lot of us that are growing, we're thriving, and there's turbulence. Let me tell you, just like Myra just said, Coach Myra just said, you're going through it for a reason. You're going to bless a lot of people on this journey you're on. Keep it up, keep going, keep moving forward. We love you. Have a great Tuesday, and we'll see you back here tomorrow.
Love
We
y'all.
got a
Have a great one.
special guest tomorrow on. Special guest
Love you
tomorrow on.
guys.
Thank y'all.
Great
Thank
message.
you.
Thank you.
Good morning. Thank you.
Thank you.
Coaches.
Great message.
Thank
Thank
you.